Welcome to the Nourish to Thrive podcast, faith-forward, science-backed strategies for women who want more energy, less weight, and real answers. I'm your host, Tanya Pennington-Miller, a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and functional blood chemistry specialist with a master's degree in applied clinical nutrition. If you're tired of feeling dismissed by your doctor, confused by your labs, and stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. Here, we simplify the science. We get to the root, and we anchor it all in truth. Because God made your body to heal and thrive, not just survive. It just needs the right kind of support and less noise. Hello, my friend. Welcome into the Nourish to Thrive podcast. I'm so glad you're back with me today. I'm really excited to talk about our topic for today because I think it's really going to hit home for so many of you. So we just wrapped up a 9-day Thanksgiving road trip. My husband, Blakely, and I, we hit the road in our travel trailer and we visited friends and family. We ate really good food and we just really soaked up some beautiful time with so many of the people that we love. And somewhere between the long drives and the authentic homemade tamales, the late nights we spent catching up, and just that constant change of pace, I noticed something. Before we left, I prepped a ton of road trip food, okay? Like nothing fancy, just like real food basics, just so that we wouldn't be relying on gas station snacks the whole way, right? Like pulling over to pick something up. I packed things like sliced turkey, sandwich fixings, some sliced tri-tip that my husband had smoked before we left, some meat sticks, some nuts, holy guac packs, chichas. That's my daughter's favorite snack. Just the simple stuff that keeps you feeling human when you're on the road. And it wasn't perfect, and it definitely wasn't, exactly how we eat at home, but it was enough. And that's when it hit me as we were eating this cold sliced tri-tip. We never heated it up. We were eating the cold sliced tri-tip with some sliced cheese and just dipping it into these guac packs. And I had this moment of realizing and honestly appreciating that I'm in a place where it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And it hasn't always been that way for me, so I don't take this for granted. I can do the best that I can do with what's in front of me, even if it's not perfect. And I can stay steady without swinging to these extremes. Okay, it's so easy to slip into that all or nothing mindset, even without realizing it. Like one day you're eating your normal meals, you're walking, you're hydrating, getting in your movement. And then the next, you find yourself out of rhythm, just kind of grabbing what's available, staying up later than you had planned. And you just find yourself thinking like, I'll just get back on track when we get home, right? And nothing's wrong with that. We're human. But if we're honest with ourselves, that pattern doesn't only happen on the holidays or on long road trips. It shows up in our everyday lives too. And that's what we're talking about today. This is where I see so many women slip into one of the most common patterns in midlife health. This is what I call the all or nothing spiral. It shows up quietly and often without us realizing it. This all or nothing mindset doesn't just steal our consistency. It literally hijacks our hormones, our nervous system, our metabolism, and our confidence. So if you're nodding with me already, like you have said, I will start on Monday, I'll start when we get back home, right? Probably more than one time, then you're in the right place. Because here's the truth. Women in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, we don't get stuck because we're lazy. We get stuck because our physiology, our hormones, and our nervous system make this all or nothing feel easier than finding a steady rhythm. Like, have you ever considered that? That the all or nothing mindset is actually your body looking for the easy way out? It's true, and I want you to hear me out on this. Stick with me through this episode. And the holidays really amplify this pattern even more. One day, you feel like you're locked in. You're doing all the things. And the next day, one stressful moment or one late night, and you just feel like you've blown it. So you might as well start fresh on Monday. But here's the shift we're walking into today. All or nothing is not a personality flaw, okay? It's a rhythm your body got used to. And most importantly, it's a rhythm we can change. So in today's episode, I want to break down for you why all or nothing keeps you stuck, what it does to your hormones and your metabolism, and what to do instead. Okay, in a way that actually works for women in midlife. We're going to talk about the physiology behind it, the mindset behind it, and just the simple rhythms that help you stay steady, especially in this season, like the holidays, where routines just get messy. They're going to. It's what's going to happen, whether you're having people at your house or you're going to someone else's home. It's just how the holidays are. And if you've ever thought, I know what to do, but I just can't seem to keep doing it, this episode is going to feel like taking a deep breath for you. Okay, so let's dig in. Now, before we dig into the physiology of all or nothing, I want to take you back to a season where that mindset wasn't just a pattern for me. It was literally the only way I knew how to live. Back in my figure competition days, and this is the very early 2000s, everything was either on season or off season. There was no in between. And anybody who has stepped on stage before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I was on, it was chicken, broccoli, and rice. Perfectly measured. No salt, no treats, like everything timed down to the minute, dialed in, tight, controlled, okay? And if I was off season, it was chocolate cake and ice cream, or even just eating too much of the things that were good for me. And then, just really consuming all the things that I had deprived myself of for months and months. And I would just swing all the way to the other side. It sounds extreme because it was. At this time, it honestly felt easier to be all in or all out than to live anywhere in the middle. And I remember so vividly wanting the next competition season to arrive so that I could feel good about myself again. As if it wasn't an option in the off season, right? So yeah, my waistline paid the price, but that wasn't the only thing. When I lived in that pendulum, I just always felt puffy. My digestion was irregular. My hormones weren't happy. And emotionally, it was like my confidence got hijacked every single time I swung to the other extreme. Because all or nothing doesn't just mess with your body, it messes with your identity. It teaches you to trust yourself only when you're perfect and to literally disconnect from your body the moment life gets real. And the truth that I had to learn the hard way is I was inconsistent. I was swinging all over the place. And it wasn't because I lacked discipline, right? It was because the way I was living on season wasn't sustainable. My body couldn't trust the extremes I kept putting it through. I was just living in a physiology my body couldn't sustain. Restriction, burnout, rebound, shame, start over, right? Again and again. And it took me a really long time to realize this. I didn't need more willpower, and I certainly didn't need the next competition season to arrive to feel like myself again. I needed stability rather than extremes. So that's where we're headed next. Why so many women slip into this all or nothing loop without even realizing it, and how to finally break out of it in a way that actually works with your hormones and not against them. So now let's talk about why all or nothing feels so familiar, especially for women in midlife. What feels like falling off is actually a nervous system that's just been running too hard for too long. And once that system is supported, once the pressure comes down, those extremes start to soften. So I'm going to break this into 3 simple pieces just to make it easy to see why this happens and what your body is doing behind the scenes. So number 1, let's talk about cortisol and your nervous system. When you're living in that push, push, push rhythm, or honestly just juggling your normal everyday life, your normal everyday calendar, your body starts leaning on cortisol and adrenaline to get you through the day. And we've talked a lot about this on the podcast. High cortisol makes that steady middle feel impossible. When your nervous system is stretched thin, everything in your day starts to feel heavier, like even the simple things, going to the grocery store. And when your brain is operating from that place, it naturally drifts toward extremes because they require less decision making, less nuance, less emotional energy. Do you hear me on this? That's why the steady middle feels so hard to land on. And it's not because you don't want it. It's because your system is overloaded. And overloaded brains don't reach for balance. You don't feel capable of it. They reach for whatever feels easiest in the moment. And extremes feel easier than moderation when you're tired. This is why you catch yourself saying, okay, Monday, I'll go keto, or maybe carnivore, or maybe I'll just fast until 1 p.m. I'll fast as long as I can fast that day. Those extremes, they actually feel simple. They feel clean. They feel like this reset button, especially when you're tired. But they're not necessarily what your hormones or your nervous system are needing in the moment, especially when you're reaching for them from a place of exhaustion. Number 2, let's talk blood sugar and dopamine. This is something every woman feels in her body, even if she's never put it into words. Okay, when your blood sugar is swinging up and down, your choices swing with it. Long fasting windows and a stressed out body, skipping meals, going too long without protein, just grabbing whatever's available, is all going to lead to bigger dips, bigger cravings, the more impulsive, like, forget it, I'll just start tomorrow, those kind of moments. And here's the key part that we don't talk about often enough. Dopamine is involved here too. When your blood sugar crashes, so does your dopamine. And your dopamine is it's your motivation and your reward chemical. It drops right along with it. When dopamine drops, your brain starts scanning for something quick to bring it back up. And what do we think brings it back up fast? Sugar, carbs, caffeine, or giving up on that day altogether because it feels easier than fighting your body. Now, your brain's not sabotaging you. It's literally trying to get you to a stable place again. Because when your blood sugar is steady, dopamine becomes steady. And then everything else steadies with it. Your mood, your energy, your cravings, your capacity to follow through. A brain that is running on fumes cannot make grounded decisions. But a nourished brain with stable blood sugar and stable dopamine is the foundation to be able to. And number 3, let's touch on the perimenopause and menopause layer. Because during perimenopause and menopause, there's 2 things that happen. Progesterone drops and your thyroid efficiency shifts. And those changes make your nervous system much more sensitive to stress, much more sensitive to intensity and to extremes. So the same all or nothing patterns that you used to bounce back from in your 20s or even your early 30s, they hit harder now. They take longer to recover from. And your body doesn't tolerate that pendulum the way that it used to. And this is why I hear so often women who are in midlife say things like, I used to tighten things up for a few days and I would feel better. Now it takes forever to get back on track. And one day off derails me, forget 1 week off. It's our physiology. Our hormones simply don't have the same buffer they once did. So if you're noticing that you swing from this all in to all out, know that it's your physiology responding to pressure. So I now want to talk about the mental side of all or nothing, because this part is just as real as the physiology. And here's what I see happening over and over again. That I messed up, I'll start over on Monday feeling feels comforting because it gives you a sense of control in that moment. This clean slate, a reset, a way to wipe the slate clean and just feel on plan again. But there's a catch. That comfort is short-lived. And the fallout from it goes on much longer. Perfection feels safe because it's clear. It's black and white. It doesn't require nuance, and it certainly doesn't require listening to your body. It doesn't require slowing down or adjusting with the life shifts. But women in midlife don't thrive on perfection. We thrive on rhythm. And when you're already juggling work and family and hormones and sleep and stress, perfection becomes just another pressure. Pressure turns into burnout. Burnout turns into forget it, I'll start over on Monday. And here's the truth I want you to take with you. All or nothing gives the illusion of control, but it ends up controlling you. I'm going to say that again for those of you in the back. All or nothing gives the illusion of control, but it ends up controlling you. It dictates your day. It dictates your confidence. It dictates how you see yourself, whether you, quote unquote, earned a good day or not. And the reason this pattern hits women over 40 especially hard is because the stakes feel higher. Your margin is thinner. Your hormones are shifting. Your energy isn't as forgiving. So any slip can feel like a failure. Now, again, the good news is this is a pattern, and patterns can be changed once you understand what's driving them. So let's talk about 3 lies that keep women trapped in the all or nothing cycle, because once you see them for what they are, they lose their power. So lie number 1, if I can't do it perfectly, it doesn't matter. And here's the real truth. Your body doesn't grade you on perfect weeks. It responds to what you do most of the time. Women get stuck because they're chasing these A+ weeks, when really their hormones would thrive with a steady B consistency. Okay, perfection burns you out. Patterns are going to help you build momentum. And the women who feel the best, they're not perfect. They stay connected to their body instead of chasing extremes. Lie number 2, starting over is the answer. Starting over feels productive, and I get it. It gives you a little dopamine hit of motivation, a clean slate, a sense of this time will be different. But every time you start over, you're training your brain to only feel successful on day 1. And day 1 isn't where your body changes. Day 1 is easy. The magic, the hormone shifts, the nervous system regulation, the metabolic stability, those things happen on day 6, day 11, day 24, day 57, right? In the boring middle. Starting over gives you momentum for a moment, but it steals the compounding calm that your hormones actually need. Your body doesn't need another fresh start. It needs you to stay, even when it's messy. Lie number 3, I just need more discipline. And trust me, I used to believe this too, but honestly, I had the discipline. I stepped on a figure stage at 4% body fat. I followed every macro, every meal, every cardio session to the minute. I lived in a world where your entire day revolved around food timing, perfection, control. So trust me, lack of discipline was never my problem. And yet, even with all that discipline, I still fell into this all or nothing spiral. Because discipline can get you shredded for a show or even for a wedding or some other event that you're trying to drop weight for. But it can't regulate your nervous system. It can't stabilize your blood sugar. It can't fix cortisol dysregulation or hormone shifts. Discipline can actually backfire when your physiology isn't supported. And that's what happened to me every off season. And to so many others who go on these quote unquote cutting diets. I would come out of months of rigid plans, like 2-a-day workouts, extreme depletion. And the moment the show was over, my body swung hard in the opposite direction. And it wasn't because I suddenly lost discipline. It's because my physiology was done. My cortisol was sky high. My hormones were suppressed. My hunger hormones were screaming. My digestion was sluggish. My nervous system was tapped out. So the second I loosened the reins, even a little bit, the rebound was massive. And I always blamed myself for that. I thought, what is wrong with me? I was just so disciplined yesterday. Like, how did I lose that so fast? But it's easy to see it clearly now. Discipline wasn't the problem. The problem was depletion, dysregulation, trying to hold this level of rigidity that my physiology couldn't sustain. And that's the lesson I want you to hear. You can't discipline your way out of dysregulation. You can't white knuckle your way into balance. And the harder you push, the harder your body will rebound. So now that we've talked about and why discipline alone can't fix it, let's talk about the part that actually moves the needle, okay? Because this is where women finally start to feel steady again. These aren't rigid rules, okay? They're rhythms. They're grounded, they're simple, they're doable rhythms that your hormones can thrive on. So let's walk through 4 shifts that can help you stay consistent without burning out. Number 1, if there's one shift that instantly pulls you out of this all or nothing spiral, it's this one. Eat earlier, stop earlier. It's a steady rhythm that regulates your hormones better than almost anything else. And here's what it looks like. Eat breakfast within 60 to 90 minutes of waking. Stop eating by 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. That's it. Simple. But the physiology behind it is so powerful. So let me break it down in a way that actually makes sense. When you eat earlier in the day, especially breakfast, you're sending your body the signal saying you're safe, you're fed, you don't need to run on stress hormones today. And that one message stabilizes your cortisol curve, calms your nervous system. It sets up your blood sugar for steadier energy throughout the entire day. And then when you stop eating earlier in the evening, giving yourself that 3 to 4 hours without food before bed, you're giving your body room for the things that it's supposed to do at night, to detox, repair, cellular cleanup, hormone regulation, deep restorative sleep. None of that can happen well when you're still digesting dinner at 10 p.m. Most women are fasting at the wrong end of the day. They're skipping breakfast, eating their biggest meal at night, and then going to bed on a full stomach. And then you wonder why you wake up feeling puffy and exhausted and foggy or, wired at 2 o'clock in the morning. Your body thrives on rhythm. So front load your nourishment and then wind down early. Let the overnight fast do the heavy lifting for you. This one shift alone brings women back into balance faster than any perfect plan ever could, any cutting plan. Number 2, let's talk about something that has saved so many of my clients from the all or nothing spiral, the 10-minute rule. And here's what it means. If you can't do a full workout, do 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes of movement, walking, mobility, light stretch work, anything that feels supportive to you. This 10 minutes of movement keeps your nervous system regulated and it keeps you connected to your rhythm. Remember, your hormones don't need perfection. They need consistency without pressure. And the 10-minute rule is going to do that. When you give your body just 10 minutes of steady movement, you can help to lower your cortisol, stabilize blood sugar, increase your circulation, support your lymphatic system. You signal safety back to your brain. And walking absolutely counts for this. In fact, most days, it's the best option, especially if you're stressed or inflamed or just not sleeping well at night. This 10-minute rule prevents the classic, I can't do the full hour, so I'll just skip it and start fresh on Monday, right? Because that moment is what keeps you stuck. A 10-minute workout is a win. And this is the beautiful part. 10 minutes keeps your identity as someone who shows up. 10 minutes keeps your nervous system from slipping into shutdown. It keeps your rhythm intact, which is what your hormones care about the most. So break that all or nothing pattern by proving to your brain that something counts, that something is better than nothing. That 10 minutes is going to help you build momentum. It will help you build confidence. It's going to help you build a body that trusts your follow through again. Number 3, this is the one that I want you to keep in your back pocket this week, because there will be a moment You're tired, you're irritated, something stressful happens, and that little voice pops up. Screw it, I'll just start again on Monday. And I want you to catch that moment, not with shame, not with a lecture, just with a better question. Instead of, I blew it, I want you to ask, what's the next best choice for the next hour for me? Not tomorrow, not next week, not I'll redo everything and start over, just the next hour. Because your nervous system does not need a 6-week overhaul in that moment. It needs one stabilizing choice. And this might look like drinking a big glass of water and adding some electrolytes or some sea salt, making one balanced plate and sitting down to eat it. It might be stepping outside for a 10-minute walk, putting your phone down and taking 5 deep breaths. Nothing dramatic or extreme. You're not starting over. You're just interrupting the spiral. If you can shift the next hour, you have already changed your trajectory. And over time, those tiny interruptions are what retrain your brain. They rewire your brain. You're not the woman who spins out anymore. You're the woman who notices the spiral and gently turns the wheel. That is nervous system safety. That is metabolism safety. And that's how all or nothing starts to lose its grip. And number 4, I want to leave you with one more shift, and it might be the most freeing one. Slow is still faithful. Faithfulness in your health is in the small, quiet choices that you make on the days when life gets messy. Eating a grounding breakfast, even if the rest of the day feels chaotic. Choosing a walk instead of skipping movement altogether. Giving yourself margin when your body feels stretched thin. Ending the night with calming rhythms instead of trying to cram in one more thing. These things might not look impressive on paper, but they're choices that build trust with your body. And what I really want you to hear is that consistency doesn't have to be fast to be effective. It just has to be steady. Slow doesn't mean you're slipping. Slow means you're honoring the season you're in. And your physiology will always respond better to that than perfection or pressure. This is the kind of slow that still moves forward. The kind of slow that your hormones can keep up with. The kind of slow that you can actually sustain. Slow is faithful, and faithful always compounds. So before we wrap up today, I want to speak to your heart for a moment. If you look all throughout Scripture, you don't see God asking people to sprint, to strive, or to hold it all together on their own. You see him inviting them to walk with him, step by step, day by day, steady, present, aware. God doesn't ask for perfection. He asks for our presence. And I think for so many of us, the all or nothing mindset sneaks in because we're trying so hard to get it right, that we end up missing the very thing he designed to keep us grounded. Rhythm. He designed your body, your hormones, your nervous system, your digestion, your energy to all operate in cycles and patterns, not extremes, not burnout, rhythm. When we live in that all or nothing mode, we're not being sinful. We're just scared. We're scared of slipping. We're scared of losing momentum. We're scared of not being enough. But the truth is that God builds change in the small and steady places, not the extremes. He does some of his best work in the unimpressive moments, right? Choosing the next nourishing meal, going on that 10-minute walk, ending the night a little earlier, showing up for your health, even when it's quiet and unseen. Those are the places where our bodies feel peace and where our hearts notice him again. So if you've been living in that pressure-filled start over Monday rhythm, I want you to remember, you don't have to hustle your way into healing. You don't have to perform for God. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. He meets you in the slow. He strengthens you in the steady. And he walks with you in the middle. Okay, sister, I would love to pray for you before we go. Father, thank you for my sister who is listening right now, for her heart, for her desire to do things well, and for her longing to feel grounded again. Lord, you see the places where she's been stretched thin. You see all the pressure she puts on herself. You see the moments where she feels like the world is on her shoulders. Would you meet her in that place today? Would you remind her that small, steady steps matter and that you are not asking her to be perfect? You're just asking her to stay close. I just pray that you would give her peace where there's been pressure, Lord, that you would give her clarity where there's been confusion, that you would give her grace for the moments where she feels like she should be further along, and help her to trust the slow and faithful work that you're doing inside of her. I just pray that you would strengthen her body and that you would steady her mind and that you would lead her into a rhythm that feels doable, that is sustainable, and most importantly, that is aligned with the woman you are shaping her to be. Lord, we just thank you for your patience with us and that we don't have to do this alone. In your glorious name we pray. Amen. Thank you for spending this time with me today, my friend. If this episode helped you breathe a little deeper or feel a little more understood, would you share it with another woman who might need it too? And if you're wanting to understand your metabolism, your hormones, and your own stress patterns at a deeper level in a way that's personalized to your physiology through comprehensive lab testing and DNA testing, you can join the waitlist for my DNA Reset for Fat Loss Academy. The link is going to be in the show notes for you. And if you're listening in real time, I'll tell you this, there's going to be a small opportunity to grab an early spot before the full launch, which is going to take place in the first quarter of 2026. This is very limited. It's very quiet. And the waitlist is the only place where I'll share it. So if your heart is already leaning in, make sure your name is on that list. Okay. Thank you for being here, for caring for your body with intention, and for choosing the steady way over the extreme way. I'll see you next week, my friend. That's it for today on the Nourish to Thrive podcast. If you found value here, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or send it to someone who's walking a similar path. Keep showing up, keep asking questions, and know that healing is possible, especially when you trust the one who designed your body to heal. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and nourished in grace.